This soup is inspired through the stories of a gentleman who taught my daughter Chinese. The Headmaster's salmon noodle soup comes from his father, who ran a fish business in South China. Through the Headmaster, we learned that this soup was more than just comfort. It's the simplicity of life we sometimes forget. His father down at the docks would take the leftovers from the day's catch, and he created a soup that had such complex flavors, some of the simplest ingredients. So this is going to be my interpretation of his soup. Now, this video will feature the soup. We'll have a separate video if you're interested in a noodle stir fry. We are going to use a finishing sauce, the orange tamari stir fry sauce, which is available on my website. And of course, if there's any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help because, shock, there's no recipe. But I am going to show you how to build this beautiful salmon stock. And each serving of soup, you want to aim for 3 cups of your favorite soup vegetables. So mise en place is essential. You can freeze this up to 3 months, and you do have to cook the noodles separately. Now, this is the list of ingredients that I use. You don't have to use MSG. Please use kosher salt if you're more comfortable. If you have no issues with gluten, soy sauce, go for it. Otherwise, just use tamari or try my orange tamari recipe. Now, at this point, we want to get going on that salmon stock because it needs to build. And I don't want you to freak out, but yes, you are going to be working with fish heads. Pick up 4 to 6 of them, and in a stock pot, fill with some fresh water and put it on medium heat. You want to periodically remove any floating remnants and foam and any gunk that comes to the top. It's about 60 to 90 minutes, and eventually you're going to want to strain this through a cheesecloth. And of course, once it's cooled, carefully remove the meat from the salmon heads. You're going to need to pull pin bones, gills, and cartilage from the flesh. That strained stock, you're going to see this beautiful collection of fatty oils floating to the top. Those are healthy. That's what's going to give that beautiful mouthfeel to the soup, so leave it alone. Put the clean stock into a clean pot. You're going to get about 3 to 4 quarts of this rich salmon stock. Now, I know some folks have talked to me about how is this gelling? Why is it gelling? Don't be alarmed because salmon is high in collagen. This is so healthy, vitamin rich. It is something you want to achieve. That's the best way to get a stock made. But put it on low heat. It's going to heat up gently and slowly, and it'll give you the perfect amount of time to go ahead and prep your vegetables. We want to make sure your noodles are cooked, of course. All your vegetables are set up. And the stock, we're going to leave it naked. We're not going to season it. The goal is to be able to save some of this in the freezer for future use, but up to 3 months. You can use as much stock as you want for your soup making, entirely up to you. Or if you're like me, you don't mind heating up a cup or 2. It's wicked, wicked tasty. All right, so we've got it on the stove. Now we're going to move on to prepping everything we need. Noodles are cooked, vegetables are prepped, and you're going to aim for 2.5 ounces by weight of your ginger and your garlic. Your vegetables are your choice. You do want to aim for about up to 1.5 pounds, give or take. And per person, it's about 6 to 8 ounces roughly. And the noodles, cook them separately in a basket with another pot of water, or cook them in that soup stock. Ultimate flavor can be happen, but be very careful. So we're going to cut the onions. Your choice. I have a crap ton of red, so I wanted to use some. I have a lot more to use, actually. But we're going to keep them on the thin side. And you're going to see through these mise en place sections that I'll have 2 bowls. I'm actually prepping for the soup, and I'm prepping for a noodle stir fry. Now the zucchini. In the middle, sometimes it can get pretty soft, but no matter what, we're going to core it. We want to get rid of the flesh and all the seeds, and we want to aim for a small dice. Now I'm using an average size zucchini, and I'm splitting it in half between the 2 bowls. And as you can see, quite simple. Small dices being done. I do a lot of zucchini in soups. It's one of my favorite vegetables. Now bok choy. This is one that you have to wash and you have to chop. You're going to get rid of the bottom. And now keep in mind, you can be the best person to wash this, but when you start cutting into it, you might still see some dirt. Don't fret. Put it in a strainer and run it under the water. That way you can just get rid of whatever you couldn't take care of. And this is a great filler for any soup or stir fry. And it's going to be nice and hearty in the soup. Carrots, you don't have to get specific with colors. I just happen to have a few. But you definitely want to wash, trim, peel, and slice. Keep them about the same size as your zucchini as best as possible. But they're going to hold up beautifully in the soup as well as the stir fry. Just keep your cuts as universal as possible. And I'm just going ahead and divvying up between the two bowls here, because I got some cooking to do pretty soon. I personally love a strong hit of garlic. I chose 2.5 ounces by weight because it'll be the perfect amount per soup and per bowl of noodles. Entirely up to you if you want to go that far. It's not that strong, but if you're like me, I'd probably be doubling this, to be truthful with you. We're not afraid. So dice it up as fine as you can and just get it into your separate bowls here. And it's so easy and simple. Ginger, you gotta puree it, but first you gotta peel it. The best way is with a spoon to peel off the skin. Put a little bit of water in your high-powered blender and blitz it. You can use a spoon or a rubber spatula. You're going to want to scrape that container clean and just divvy it up between the two small dishes. Now we're keeping it separate because we don't want it going in at the same time. I don't want it to burn and then it gets all wicked bitter and then you just ruined your dish. I'm not into that, so keep it separate, folks. It will make a difference for sure. That's a lot of ginger. God. So now that we have our setup is done, the additional setup for the noodles are done, and now we're going to work on how we're making the soup in a pan. That's right, we're doing a panned soup. So right away, we're going to hit the pan on medium-high heat with a little bit of oil. Peanut oil, you can use olive oil, but stir fry, I like peanut oil. If you have any allergies, just make your adjustments. Now, we are a house that uses MSG. It's lower sodium, much healthier for you. And with Asian cooking, they use a lot of white pepper often, but not necessarily a lot of white pepper. It's wicked strong. And unless you're into sneezing fits, I highly suggest you be very careful because that can definitely set you off. So automatically we're dumping in a bowl of our prepped vegetables and garlic. Now pay no mind, I'm used to the heat. I'm just breaking up the red onions because, that's what I do. I don't even feel it anymore, to be honest. Now we're just going to let the heat touch this. And the goal is to try to keep as much of the beautiful color as possible. In fact, it's going to intensify a little bit. So we're going to keep tabs on this to make sure it doesn't burn. I love the facial I get from this. It's wicked awesome, cost effective. So just make sure you're tossing it around either by the pan or by a spoon, whatever's comfortable for you. And I can definitely say having everything nearby will make this so pain-free. Now we are doing a seafood dish. So I want to take advantage of the aromatics, so we still have the ginger, and I'm adding fish sauce to this. I'm not doing more than about half a tablespoon. It's a huge salt hit, so I'm trying to be very careful with it. And that's just going to intensify all the flavors in that pan while we add the ginger. And this smell is incredible when you're starting to work on it. I'm telling you right now, it's beautiful. And we just want to bring everything up to temperature. We still have some beautiful colors here. So now we need to go ahead and hit it with our salmon stock. Average is 1 pint to 1/4 stock per soup bowl. Depends on your choice. I like a big bowl of soup, so I'm probably going to do the full quart. And this is going to come up to temp wicked fast because that stock is still fairly hot as well. Now here's my finishing sauce. I'm just doing a couple of tablespoons worth. And we're going to stir that up. You'll see the color change, and it's beautiful. Look at how gorgeous that is. So we already have a prepped bowl with the cooked noodles. We're just going to put some chunks of the cooked salmon. Now, as hot as that soup is in the pan, it's just going to bring everything else up to temperature. I'm not going to worry about any issues with the temperature of the fish or the noodles. They cook wicked fast, and this is going to bring it back up to temperature. So right away, we'll take the pan right over, and we're going to start carefully ladling everything. Look at the colors. They're stunning. And this is all thanks to being in good control of time and temperature. Not even a scuff mark on those vegetables. So let's take a look at it. Here's some garnishes you can take advantage of if you like a little bit of heat. Cilantro is a big thing in our house, and this is definitely a house favorite. I certainly hope you enjoy this. Let me know if you've tried it. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out my website. Thanks so much. Have a good one.